Hello and welcome to Central Asia Chatroom. I'm CGTN reporter Meng Qingsheng here in Xi'an. The leaders of China and the 5 Central Asian countries have just concluded the 2-day summit in the city. The event, the very first of its kind, has charted new blueprints for China-Central Asia cooperation. What does the summit convey? Why it is so significant? And what changes will it bring to peoples of the 6 countries? And today we are joined by 3 expats from Central Asia who have been working and living in Xi'an for many years. Now I will introduce them one by one. They are Anita Jumekenova from Kazakhstan, Mambetova Elnura from Kyrgyzstan, and Pirumshoev Farrukh from Tajikistan. Welcome. For convenience purpose, our conversation today will be done in Chinese. We have simultaneous interpreters to help you understand the talks.
I understand you Chinese.
我了解各位的中文水平都很高。那首先给大家介绍
How many years have you been living in China and what
生活有什么样的感受？从Anita开始。
好，大家好，我叫 Anita，
from
我是来自
Kazakhstan. I came here in 2006 in Xi'an. I studied here and work here, and also I married a local guy in 2014, so I live in
在
Xi'an.
西安了。
好，那
So what is your life here in the city of Xi'an?
我是
Well, I pretty much like the city.
非常喜欢西安。
It's very suitable for life, for my own career development, because I work on the e-commerce. I think the condition here is very perfect. As a mother, I think the education level in Xi'an is very good.
非常好，看到很多
And also we have better environment, better traffic,
交通比较
transportation.
便利。
So in Xi'an, I would say
我觉得可以说很多
a lot of beauty in Xi'an.
I think that you have introduced every single beauties and treasures in Xi'an. Thank you so much for your loving for Xi'an.
我叫叶丽
So
安，
my Chinese name
我
is
来自
Yelia.
吉尔吉
I'm
斯
from
斯
Kyrgyzstan
坦。
and
目前是
also
山西师范大学的博
trying
士
to
研
learn
究
a
生，
doctorate
同时也
degree
是一
here.
名创业者。
I also a entrepreneur in Xi'an. I have been here for 8 years.
8年了，对。
I live here. I own my family here, and also I stay here quite a long time.
So what is your experience in the city of Xi'an? How do you describe it?
Actually, I'm a fan of Xi'an. I'm a new local in Xi'an city. This is my second hometown.
So I am from Tajikistan. My Chinese name is Farrukh. I come to Xi'an in the year of 2014, enrolled in the Northwest University. After graduating from the university, I have started my own company focusing on the overseas business. I've been living in Xi'an for 12 years. 12 years. I think both of our ladies has considered Xi'an as their second hometown. What is your taking of Xi'an? I think life is very convenient here in Xi'an, and everything goes well in the city of Xi'an. Thank you very much for your introduction. I know that today we concluded the China Central Asia Summit, and the leaders in the 6 countries signed the Xi'an declarations. So what is your deepest impression about the summit?
Well, this China Central Asia Summit has concluded. I think it's of great significance. For me, what impressed me most is that actually I'm a commerce person here, and also I understand that it is the 10th year anniversary to build the Economic Belt Initiative, and also the day before yesterday, it is the birthday of our president, and also feel that. So for the one of the embassy opened in Xi'an. So right now, the 2 countries has built up a most closer relationship. It's more convenient for people-to-people exchange.
Yes, it brings us a lot of convenience. How about you? And what is you taking of this time summit? What impresses you most?
So for me, I understand that the president of Kyrgyzstan, actually, this is first time to come to China for a state visit. And also yesterday in Datang, they also watched the gala. And they watched the performance in Xi'an. And also we see the performance from both like Kyrgyzstan and China also deliver the performance together.
The last night show is of the quite unique features, and a lot of artists from China and Xi'an has performed during the last night's galas. It was very impressive. So how about you? What is the most impressive thing during the last 2 days summit? For all the Tajikistan peoples, we considered last night as an amazing event, and yesterday we have just opened the airline between Xi'an and Dushanbe. It is connecting with the central areas in the Air Silk Route. It is creating an ever more convenient life. With the opening of this airline, I plan to go back every single month. And this morning, in his keynote speech, President Xi Jinping has mentioned about the 4 items about what kind of China-Central Asia relations that we are going to create. And he noted that the world need a Central Asia which is harmonious, which is developing, which is sustainable, and it is our vital. It is also of great vitality. So what is you taking of that?
So as an entrepreneur, I think development is the key for us. And for me, I think the most important thing is prosperity. Because China is the largest developing country, so for the 5 Central Asia countries, we think that if China develops well, it will give us a lot of help for the other 5 Central Asian countries. For example, we could have more tourism exchanges, people-to-people exchange. People can come to the Central Asian countries, and also we can start a business in China. I think this is a very big thing for us. So in the future, we have more room for development.
So what about you? I think the harmonious comes first. We should not have any ethnic conflicts. We are going to work together, join the hands together with a better future. I believe that by coordinating and coexisting harmoniously, we are definitely going to develop together. We talk about the topic of connectivities, and one thing we cannot avoid is the ancient Silk Route. The city of Xi'an is actually the starting point for the Silk Route event. 2,100 years ago, the ambassador from the Xi'an, the then capital of Chang'an, has started his journey of the Silk Route. Do you know the story of the Silk Route?
Yes, I do. And also right now, we could feel that we can modernize the history. Because in the past, we have the lossless land, but right now we could start from Xi'an, and also we can connect Xi'an with the 5 Central Asian countries.
Yes, you mentioned that you are a trade woman, and during your day-to-day life, have you ever used the China-Euro Railway?
Well, sometimes we are using this China-EU railway and to transport the goods to Kazakhstan, and also we are bringing in some of the green products and bring those to China.
What kind of green goods are you talking about?
For example, the honey, the sugar, biscuits. And in the future, we will bring more products to China.
So, what kind of items, what kind of food does the Chinese customers like the most?
I think Chinese people like snack. So I think the food in Kazakhstan is quite suitable for Chinese.
We all know that starting from the year 2021, China has opened the first China-Euro railways. Since then, it has built a lot of connectivities between China and Central Asia, among which 80% of the items is coming through the Central Asia, bringing the prosperities to the local people. The China-Euro railway freight fees is only 1/5 of the airline transportations and only 1/4 of the shipment transportations. What is your take about the China-Euro railway?
Well, I think this is a very convenient train, because in the past we have to use the vehicles to bring all of these products to China, but right now we use the China-EU railway. It's quite fast, and also it could ensure the security of the goods. So I think it is quite convenient for us.
What is your take of the China-Euro railways? I think it's more convenient, and the speed is getting faster and faster. For example, we produce some of the plastic items and plastic counters. I get the items from Wuxi and I send the goods from Lianyungang. It usually takes several few days. Generally speaking, it used to take 24 days to place an order. But right now, the time has been shortened from 1 to 2 months to 20 to 25 days. No matter from the price, from the transportation time, I would say that it is becoming more and more convenient. We all know that China Railway is transporting the goods from the two sides, while the Chinese goods comes to the Central areas, come to the European countries. Another items we need to talk about is that one of the major infrastructure projects is enrolled in the Central areas. It is related to the China Central Asia Summit and the China Central Asia initiations. During the 2013, when President Xi Jinping first visited the Central Asia, he came up with the Silk Road initiations. During the Silk Road Asian, after his initiations, he actually built the China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan highways, as well as the China Central Asia oil pipelines. You are coming from the Central Asia countries. What is you taking about this infrastructure project?
I have some basic understanding about the projects in Kazakhstan, because for the Kazakhstan, we have very good geographical conditions in Central Asia, and also in the summit, they also mentioned that in the future, China will build out more bond houses in the Kazakhstan.
You need to set the logistic inventories. What is the convenience it is going to bring you?
Because we are working in the e-commerce area, we pay a lot of attention about the speed of the transportation. So in the future, if we have this like bonded warehouse, it is much more convenient for the Chinese consumers to receive the goods. It could take only like 5 to 10 days to receive the goods.
Indeed, it is very convenient. These Belt and Road initiations is gradually enrolling in your hometown. Are there any of them?
Well, this is actually the 10th year of the Silk Road Economic Belt Initiative. So for me, I think the railway is very important for us. And also this time for the Central Asia Summit, it is actually hosted by China. And also China built a lot of hospitals in my hometown, because in the past, the medical service, the service level is quite low in my hometown, Kyrgyzstan. But right now, we are receiving more infrastructure from China, and it is more convenient for people to seek medical help. And also, I want to mention about the railway connecting China and Kyrgyzstan. After the railway completed, I think in the future will be more convenient to bring the goods to China and the Central Asian countries, or vice versa. It is more convenient for us.
So you have just mentioned the China Tajikistan railways. It is going on in your country. Are there any other project enrolling in your hometown? In my hometown, China Central Asia Railway surpassing the Palmay and connecting with Tajikistan. There are so many high-rising buildings in the city of Tajikistan. It is because of the infrastructure collaborations between China and Tajikistan. China's self-produced machines can be transported to Tajikistan. I have not visited the city of Tajikistan. What is your country looks like? Can you introduce us? 93% of the Tajikistan is being covered with mountains and sands. I'm not sure. The average sea level altitude is about 2,800. Have you ever visited Tajikistan yet?
No, we have never been there before.
Could you please introduce us your hometown?
So for the Kyrgyzstan, I would say a very famous river. So for some Chinese people, when they are looking at the picture, they will refer to the Qinghai Lake. But actually the lake in Kyrgyzstan is more vast. it contains of the salt, water, and also you can do some spa or foot massage, spa in the river, and some people may come to the lake to seek a cure. And sometimes it could be considered as a resort. So during the holidays, people would like to go to this place. And also people are saying that if you are not visiting the exact lake, you have never been to Kyrgyzstan. That is a hotspot in the Kyrgyzstan. And we have the mountains, we have lake, and also we have grassland. And of course, we have a lot of delicacies as well.
With an ever more convenient transportation infrastructure, we are also inviting all the guests who is watching the live streaming to come to your hometown. You can have the breakfast in the city of Xi'an and arriving in our Kyrgyzstan and the lunch and have the barbecues for lunch. So could you please introduce us your hometown?
So my hometown is in Kazakhstan. We have many states in the Kazakhstan. Unlike Kyrgyzstan, we have many grassland. So for my hometown, we don't have much more of the mountains. It's quite dry or very cold. In winter, minus 20 Celsius degree, people like skiing. But if they feel cold, they will come back to their house.
So you like winter events better? Those who are liking winter sports can visit your country. And apart from the winter sports, what is the unique features of the Tajikistan? Apart from the barbecues, we also have the noodles, potatoes, and fried together. It creates a local cuisines. Thank you so much. I think that you mentioned that yesterday we have just opened up a new airline between China and Tajikistan. We all know that China has trying to build a new air silk route. According to my understanding, that the civil flying airline agency in China is also opening up more direct lines with the Central Asian countries. To my latest knowledge, that there are 10 different Chinese cities opened up the new airlines with the Central Asia countries. Could you please introduce us the transportation methods or transportation experience previously and after the summit?
So in the past, people will take days to take a train to Kazakhstan. But right now, so for me and Yelia, we are actually live here because we get wet here. And for my family, they are worried that maybe it takes a long time for us to go back to our country. But right now, because of the conveniency, I can come back to my hometown anytime I want. And also my family members can travel to Xi'an to visit us. If they come here more often, they could get to know more about the culture in China. Because I stay here, so my family members always come to Xi'an to visit us.
So how did you go home before?
Well, in the past, it takes about 2 days for me to arrive in my hometown. But now, if I take the plane, so it takes shorter for me to come back to Kyrgyzstan. And also each week we have 2 flights from Xi'an to the Central Asian countries. So for example, you could spend the weekend and then you come back to work on Monday. I think it's more convenient.
So how about you? We are similar. We used to flying from Xi'an to other cities. It usually takes 1 day and a half, but right now it takes 5 hours. Starting from Xi'an to Tajikistan, more and more airlines is opening up between the city of Xi'an and the central areas, connecting people with a more convenient manners. In the morning's speech, President Xi Jinping has special noted that all the entrepreneurs who is looking for business opportunities, students who is looking for the studying opportunities is the friendship endless in the current times. I'm looking forward that we are going to carry the rules of the friendship onwards as we are moving into the future. And it is also going to convey more and more best wishes from the 2 sides, connecting the people's heart from the 5 different countries. It is to our understanding that last year we have celebrated the 30 years anniversary between China's diplomatic relations with the Central Asians. The 6 heads of the states has announced that we are going to build the China Central Asia joint alliance. About this joint alliance, President Xi Jinping has came up with 4 ideas in the morning, and in these 4 ideas include the mutual respect, everlasting friendship, supporting each other with the brothership, as well as the seeking for the common prosperities. How can we work on these fronts?
So I think we have to work together to build a closer tie between China and the 5 Central Asian countries and make sure that we have an everlasting friendship with China.
What is your take about this question?
Well, actually, the idea of the community with a shared future for China and Central Asian countries is very important. It is not just a slogan, because for the Central Asian countries, we have to work harder. For example, we have to increase the level of the stability and the security, and then we will seek for more better prosperity in the future.
For me, the friendship between the country of Tajikistan and China means that the two countries will develop together and work hard for the future. Could you please introduce us what kind of trade business that you are doing right now? Currently, my business is focusing on the export of the mobiles. I export the vehicles from China to the Central Asia countries, including the conventional vehicles as well as the EVs, and I also transport these vehicles to the other countries. Domestically, we think the Chinese-produced vehicle is the best in the Central Asia countries. So by selling the best vehicles to Central Asia, you are connecting the heart between the Chinese people and also the people from Central Asia. We talk to the 4 stakeholders sticking to the mutual common development. President Xi Jinping has came up with these ideas, as well as unleashing the opportunities in the production areas, in the financial corporations, and creating the new opportunities in the finance, poverty alleviations, and the green financing. What is you taking about the collaboration areas between China and Central Asia?
Start from last year. So China has been working together with the Kazakhstan on the agricultural products. For the merchants, I think they're quite confident and interested in entering into the Chinese market. They could feel a bright future in China here. And for some of the byproducts in agriculture and some like green products, food, we think this year, the first quarter, we have already completed the target that has been set in last year.
So you think snakes are the most promising areas, right? So what is you taking about the different areas?
So for me, I'm gaining a doctorate degree. I'm focusing on the communication of Chinese culture. I think people-to-people exchange and tourism is very important for us. So right now we have more airlines, and also we are seeing a lot of policies that could be beneficial for the people-to-people exchange. And it is more convenient for Chinese visitors to come to the Central Asian countries. And also in the future, we are expecting more people from the Central Asian countries to come to Xi'an. In the past, they don't know the city of Xi'an, but they know there are very famous tourist sites in Xi'an, and I think we need to have more ways to bring the culture outside of Xi'an city.
We understand in the Central Asia countries that there are so many common places and common ground with China. For example, in China, we have the terracotta warriors. What is the Central Asia's unique tourist spots in the Central Asias?
Because of the Belt and Road Initiative, and some people get to know a lot of the tourist sites in the Central Asian countries. For example, they know the Asia River, and also they know there are a lot of museums in the Central Asian countries. So for the visitors, they would like to come to those places, and also for Chinese people, they love nature. And there's a lot of like natural resorts in the Central Asian country, and we have a lot of food there as well.
So, yeah, I think you are the tourist ambassador from your country. And if we have the time, I invite the whole crew and our team to come to your country. So, what is the areas that you think is the most promising during the China Central Asia collaboration? I am focusing on the export, and I'm also looking forward to import more and more Chinese goods to Tajikistan to let more and more Chinese people to understand Tajikistan. No matter from the goods from Tajikistan or the Central Asia 5 countries, I actually want to invite the Chinese people to understand what is the unique specialities in our 5 countries. You mentioned about some of the items and the commodities, including the vehicles. What are the areas that you are most optimistic about the China Central Asia collaboration? 80% of the imports from the Central Asia countries is actually from China. What kind of items? Could you please give me an example? I think in Tajikistan, the majority of the goods is coming from China. They are of lower price. They are of high quality.
So in the past, we are actually into the Chinese goods, but right now we are seeing that more products has been transported to China. And also for BYD, the car is very popular in the Central Asian countries. They're quite suitable for the market in Kazakhstan.
What do you think of the other areas that China and Central Asia can collaborate together? For example, you mentioned about the medical kits, right?
Actually, in my country, the Kyrgyzstan, actually we are in lack of the medical resources. For example, the infrastructure as well as the personnel. So for some people, they're coming to China. They try to learn calligraphy. They try to learn different kind of majors. But right now, we try to open up more like disciplines so that more people can come to China to learn some of the medical knowledge, and then they can come back to their hometown to provide support to the local people. We try to fill the weak links in the Kyrgyzstan.
Thank you so much for your sharing. In the morning speech, President Xi Jinping also mentioned that during the China Central Asia collaborations, there are 8 suggestions, among which 8 includes the expansions of the trade and goods services. China is going to come up with more and more measures to suit the economic collaborations between China and Central Asia. And he also mentioned that we are going to work on the green and initiations. We are willing to work with the Central Asia countries working on the water treatment areas as well as the irrigation areas. And another part we are also going to work on is the expand energy cooperations. China is also going to provide for a total package of 26 billion RMBs fundraising and also financial support for the Central Asians. And we're also going to deepen the connectivities between China and the Central Asia countries, supporting the values of the cross-border cargo transportations. So what is your echoes here, and what is your takings in the culture and civilizations areas?
All right, for the Kazakhstan, we are trying to bring some of the oil paintings and also bringing in to Xi'an for exhibition. So I would like to show you about all of these oil paintings. You could see there are many pieces of art from the artist from Kazakhstan. So for example, this one is a local costumes in Kazakhstan. And also we are trying to showing some of the artistic elements in the exhibition. And we want to boost a people-to-people exchange and a cultural exchange here.
This is where we can learn from each other and borrow each other's experience and create the best artwork, apart from the traditional Kazakhstan artwork. So here we have some of the sceneries with the city of Almaty, with the 4 seasons presenting with the unique ethnic features. Here are some of the grassland in the Almaty. So these are the students who are riding the horses. This is our unique ethnic clothes. And we also have some of the modern sceneries, which is of great beauty. I'm also looking forward to visit your city. What is your take about that?
So for me, I think in the commerce area, it is very important, and also we rely on the media communication. For example, people watch television, they listen to the radio, and also they check on the videos and the information on the mobile phones. So I suggest that for Kyrgyzstan, and I suggest the media affiliations should work with China so that we can bring in more information to China, and also we can bring the content on the Chinese mainland to the Kyrgyzstan. So there are different types of content. So I think the cultural exchange is very important. So I think media cooperation is very important. So we need people from Central Asian countries to learn what is China right now.
Mentioning about what is China right now, so how would you really describe China right now, and how would you put China in front of your families and friends?
I think for China it is quite developed, and also the people here, they're quite friendly. Especially I would like to mention that the Xi'an people, they're quite warm, and also they show me a lot of hospitality. For example, for some of my families, they are living in Kyrgyzstan, they still feel that it's not safe in China, but that is not the case. For example, for me, when I live in Kyrgyzstan after 9 p.m., I dare not come out. However, in China, I think it's quite safe. No matter when is the time I would like to come out to have a joy. And I also want to show my family members that right now China is developed very fast, and a lot of things are made in China. So that's why I always emphasize that we need to strengthen the media cooperation, so people living in the Central Asian countries, they get to know more about China. So for example, they tell the differences about the products. So they cannot say the products in China are not of good quality. They need to have their own mindset to get to know more about China.
So what does China look like? Once you visit China, you are going to understand China. So as a Chinese saying goes, seeing is believing. That's the reason why I invite them to come to China and have a look about the real China. So what is your description about China to your families and friends? Or the city of Xi'an? I think Xi'an is the most similar cities with the Central Asia countries. Our countries and leaders visited China, and they told me that all the cities in China, and they think that among all the cities in China, Xi'an is developing the most naturally. And I would say that you are quite fond of the city of Xi'an. So how about you? Which city do you like most in China?
So I would like to recommend them for some food and some entertainment. As for food, you have to eat liangpi, a kind of like rice noodle in Xi'an, and also they have to visit some of the tourist sites here, and also they have to visit the terracotta and also the bell tower in Xi'an, because here you could feel the hospitality, and also it is quite convenient in Xi'an. For example, the traffic, and also it is quite safe. And actually, you just feel like home when you come to Xi'an.
Ilya, what do you think is the must go for the city of Xi'an?
Well, first I would recommend some of the museums. And actually, when you come to the museum, you can learn the history about the Belt and Road Initiative, and also there were some items that can show key milestones of the Silk Road Initiative. And also I recommend them to come to the museum to see the terracotta, and because we know that since childhood, and also I recommend them to went to the bell tower, and because for those places actually it is quite prosperous and also quite intriguing for the visitors. As for food, I recommend them to eat some lamb and also lamb with bread and also some special noodles. This is our daily food.
So how about you? What is your recommended food? All sports. I recommend to go to the Mount Hua as well as the Mount Qingling. They are a natural sport. It is cooler compared with the city areas. I understand you used to dwell in the central part of the city of Xi'an. Where do you live here? I think here right now I live in the suburb because it is more convenient and more safe as well as quiet compared with the urban areas. There are so many parks that I can have my kids to play. And you have mentioned that he has relocated his home from the central part of the Xi'an to the suburbs of the city of Xi'an. And right now we are in the Changda eco areas of Xi'an, backed by a vast sea of the wetland. It is of the most livable areas here in Xi'an. We've been talking about so many different topics. So what do you think of the prospects for China and Central Asia collaborations? What is your suggestions for China Central Asia collaboration? What do we need to do?
Well, I think I suggest more Chinese people can visit the Kazakhstan to learn more about Kazakhstan, and also, of course, I recommend more Kazakh to come to China to learn more about China. So because I suggest that we could have some industrial cooperation, we could start up the business in different places. So for example, when we are working together, and then we can gain success. So for me, well, as for the byproduct and the agriculture areas, for some of the products we are not able to bring some of the products in China. I think in the future, I hope we could open more access so that we can bring more beef and lamb to China, so Chinese people can eat food from Kyrgyzstan.
I think it's going to become a reality quite soon. I suggest more and more people to go to Tajikistan, more and more Chinese people more and more Tajikistan people go to China. That's how we are going to know each other better. Thank you so much for your kind suggestions. During the morning speech, President Xi Jinping has mentioned one of the slogans, that is to say, when you sow, you get the harvest, and when you pay, you get the payback. So I wish you enjoy your life here in China. So thank you so much for participating in today's live streaming.
Whole process. I'm CGTN reporter Meng Qingsheng here in Xi'an, capital city of northwest China's Shaanxi province. Until next time, bye-bye.